I'm an addict named Rick.
Hi, Rick.
I'm grateful to be in the process of recovery, and I'm grateful to be able to stand up here and present to some and introduce to others this addict who's going to carry a clear message of Narcotics Anonymous tonight. This guy is all over the country, sharing, caring, telling addicts that we do recover, showing addicts that we do recover. He does a lot of travel. He does a lot of service. Ever since I've known him, he's been in service, and he kind of propelled me in the service. And like he got me up here now, right? But he a lot of times he tells me what to do, and I allow him to do that because he is my sponsor, and I love him dearly. With no further ado, I'd like to bring him up, Charlie C. out of Detroit.
You know, they told us to fake it till you make it. So it's 11:30 at night. And I want to ask one question. Is anybody in here in Shanty Creek grateful to be clean? Yeah. I believe we the visible proof of an invisible power. We God's best evidence that he is real. I want to thank MRCNA. I'm kind of excited. And I was trying to explain to people because I'm on a different mission. You know, the disease of addiction, before you got diagnosed, sent us on many missions that we didn't understand. Today I understand the mission. It was the electrician and a lot of other folks who passionately, you got to stay clean. You're going to have to come clean, and you're going to have some passion for this program. We're not fanatics. Us who just come here with all this clean time, and I haven't used any dope since October 7th, 1987, right? Yeah, I believe yes in clapping. You don't have to put a cut. Yeah, a lot of times we get this false image that this is service. This is selfless service. This is nothing else. It's no different from the guy who puts up the chairs. You sit in or makes the coffee, or I heard a guy sharing in the background. He was doing the hospitality room, and he said, "I finished my service tonight in the hospitality room. All of it's necessary, right? It's nothing is wasted because many people come to this program. They attend Narcotics Anonymous meetings, but they never join. You never join the program. Thanks for visiting. But you never join. There's a template for this process. This process has a template that was made by my predecessors, who I'm so grateful for. I thank God for my recovery, but I thank God for inspiring. People were kind to me. When me and Happy New Day and Rick and some other folks came to this program, we weren't concerned about what color you are. In fact, what color is clean anyway? Yeah. And they were kind. When I asked for a cigarette, man, they gave me 2 cigarettes. That was what my life had been reduced to. You could, if you were kind to me, if you didn't slam the door in my face, you was all right with me. It didn't take much. I didn't even come here with the desire to stop using. I was through. I didn't have another use in me. It was like, whatever y'all are saying, I'm with it. Right? For some of y'all, this may be a midnight meeting, But for other people in here, this is an emergency. Yeah, if you don't get what you need from here, there should be a marathon meeting going. A reason for a marathon is hopefully the speaker can inspire you, can jar something inside of you, can hopefully make you remember things that you'll forget to remember. And reinstitute some gratitude and some hope in your recovery. And clean time has nothing to do with it. There's some things in our literature that talks about there are going to be episodes in your life where your time will not save you and your time may turn on you. We're going to act, excuse me, but we're going to act like we know something now. It's been over 30 years, and if I make it through the night, in a couple of months, it'll be 31. But this is a What Have You Done For Me Lately program. You can't rest on no laurels up in here. You know what I mean? There have been many people who came here and had good intentions. But this is, in fact, I'm going to ask y'all to do one thing for me. Would you pinch yourself? The theme of this convention is beyond our wildest dreams. Look at who's clean. That motherfucker that they told to get the fuck out of here. And you wasn't going to never be shit. Right? They wasn't going to never stop using a person that they didn't believe in. That's why I want to say welcome to the new person. If nothing is said, there's nothing more significant than us doing what they did for me. The same thing that they did for me in 1987, we want to do for you, and it still holds true. You're the most important person at this meeting, and any meeting of Narcotics Anonymous, and you don't ever have to use again. That's our real message. And we got plenty of evidence now. My sponsor got up here that still taking direction and still doing H&I work. In fact, I got grand sponsees in here. This one had over 30 years clean. I got grand sponsees in here with 27, 28 years clean, 30 years clean. What we're saying is the program works. Whatever we did, we followed the template. We followed the directions. And this is another thing I have come to believe. See, this is my viewpoint. I don't come up here and give no directions of what y'all ought to do. I don't know whether y'all the police, the FBI. I'm the only addict. Rick was I was studying. My sponsor got a way of studying and writing before he comes to speak. And I try to do it to refocus because I got brain damage. I was telling Rick, I say, it's strange. Now, my sponsor, Aaron and Rick, have wonderful recall. They have wonderful comprehension, but they have picked for all over this country the retarded one. Ain't that something? They picked the retarded motherfucker. Yeah, I can't remember shit. Right? Did somebody see me like this the first time I've been speaking, sitting with writing notes, right? Because I really did burn brain cells. Some of us are much sicker than others, right? But we do recover, right? And we are living beyond our wildest dreams, right? I respect the process that's necessary to get this. A lot of times people try to minimize the recovery process. You'll think you're only in recovery. You know, many times you hear people say, I've been clean 20 years, but I ain't been in the recovery process but 2. And you be sitting there bewildered. You know, because even old timers will try to authorize in some kind of fake modesty the fact that we ain't doing this that good. No, we doing good, but we don't want to brag. My goodness. Why not brag on what God has done? You know what I'm saying? We God's best evidence that he's real. I believe every part of it. Kimmy talked to me today. Kimmy was one of them people, because I believe all of it. The stuff when you're not so nice and you cut somebody out today is part of recovery. When you go through them relationships, the process is part of recovery. Your relapse. It's in recovery and relapse. Maybe the jarring event to get you a more rigorous application. Kimmy came up and told me the most wonderful thing. Kimmy was somebody who came to a meeting that I go on Sunday and might have relapsed 10,000 times. Looked like every Sunday she come in and said, well, I got high. I'm going to get honest about it. I got high. Like, I got high, fuck you. I'm supposed to be here. Kiss my ass. I'm coming any fucking way. And then, one day, today, and I told her she made my day. There's nothing like seeing people. It's like, how dare people you got to have audacity to get this. She had the audacity after all them relapses to keep coming back. And she say, when I had 10 days clean, you told me I was going to sponsor somebody one day. Right? She said, I got a sponsee. And I got 14 months, right? There's no more losing. And you're a winner. If you're sitting in this room, you're a winner. There ain't no more losing. You win in all situations. It's good that he left your ass, right? It's good she told you that what was going on with you. All of us is a part of the process of recovery. All those things had to happen, I believe, to make you up to be the winner that you are today. See, a victory for one of us is a victory. That's why I wanted them applause. A victory for one of us is a victory for all of us. My clean time is your clean time. It's a positive possibility of what God can do with anyone. I should have started this meeting with the serenity prayer because there are techniques. There are things that until you've been here for some time, until you have gone through something, there's going to be times that you will never understand what the higher power is until you go through something that'll bring you closer, that'll make you say the serenity prayer 1,000 times. You've been in a situation one day, these are strategies, these are techniques, so that in a moment, tonight, I'm about to go get me some rest. I worked this morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, was on top of a building doing some electrician work, and drove all the way up here, went to go change clothes, and put my key into my ignition and broke the key off in the ignition. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I need it. There's going to be times that you're going to need some stuff to calm yourself down in the moment. What do you think this stuff is? Some nice sounding spiritual stuff? It's going to be a time. You're going to be in a situation, you're going to be searching for somebody other than who you used to be to respond appropriately to a situation so you can survive that situation. Because a lot of times we don't realize what really happened to us. I was talking to Michael, right? And we were talking about beyond our wildest dreams and active addiction. You die 1,000 times. I remember when the person that worked in my mother's business told me I couldn't come in the business because that was the directive, and I died. I remember when I got embarrassed and the works that I had been using to shoot dope with fell out of my sock when I was asleep over my son's house, and my granddaughter picked up the syringe, right? And I died. I died when they came to me and told me that my services were no longer needed at my job. I died. I died when I wasn't who I used to be. I died. I died when my woman told me to get the fuck out, and I'm going down Chicago with a black plastic bag. I died. I died when it was time for me to go to treatment. I'm sitting in treatment with nothing, and I'm just a couple hours short of an engineering degree. I'm sitting in the treatment center dying. I'm died when my mama dropped me down at the Salvation Army, and I seen she told me to get out the car, and before I got out the car, she said, "God bless you." I died. I died. And this program brought me back to life. Your encouraging words, your belief in me. Y'all told me y'all would love me until I learned to love myself. Addiction kills you. Until you get your diagnosis, which I believe who is an addict. Being undiagnosed and going through the missions that addiction sends you on. I'll never forget. Because a lot of times we like to awfulize addiction. We like to say that it was, I didn't get enough attention when I was a child. I'm black, right? A good excuse. Right? I was molested when I was 3 years old, so when I grew up, I was going to get me some crack, right? I was not walking down the street one day and said, you know what? Because my mother and father were working and didn't spend enough time with me, Snake, could you give me one of them dimes, right? It wasn't like that. I was out. I believe we are people who are fun-loving people. We are party people. We are people who just got so much life and energy, and people like being around us until our energy gets distorted. They enjoy us partying, but we don't never want the party to end. Right? And so, I don't believe about dastardly dark stories, at least in my case. My father was a master's degree graduate in 1953. So what's my excuse for being here? Everybody in here ain't from the street. When you spend up your check again, when you didn't pay your rent again, when you start experiencing stuff that didn't make sense, and it started, addiction drives you crazy. Taking orders from a power. It's like I was out having a ball and partying and was high and had been up for a while. I don't know if anybody in here knows what it feels like to be up 2 or 3 days. When you're cross-eyed, when you're feeling delirious, when it's time to go home and you still can't go home. See, addiction ain't the dope. The addiction is the fact that you can't go home. They tell you to go home, you can't get up off the milk crate. That's what addiction. That's why Narcotics Anonymous is about addiction. It's days that we had plenty of dope. It's days you got your check, you took care of all your business, you made a good hustle, you sold some coochie and hit a good lick. Right? And your ass still won't. It's time to go home. You done smoked good, shot dope, you drunk as hell, and you can't go home. I was tired. I don't know if y'all know what being up for 2-3 days feel like. When one of them times when you sleep 24 hours, you go home and you just, it's been over 30 years, but it's like it was yesterday. Active addiction is fresh in my mind. And I'm trying to go to sleep. I went home and crashed And soon as it looked like I got to sleep, this motherfucker kicked my bed. And I woke up here. I ain't been to sleep. And it's a general standing over my bed. Full with medals. He got all his medals on. And he was like, I had been out having fun. He said, get your ass up. And I'm Jamil, get your ass up. I said, what do you mean get my ass up? I'm tired. I said, who is you anyway? I believe addiction happens to us. Right? A woman years ago with 50 years clean said addiction is like catching a cold. It's not anything that you planned. You caught it. You had a reaction to it. You thought you found something in it and kept using. Could it be that simple? This motherfucker told me, get up. Stand at attention. It's time to march. I said, march? I said, man, I'm tired. He said, it's time to march, brother. He said, go over your mother's house. Go over my mother's house for what? You know where she keeps that money up under the bed, right? In the corner. Go over to your mother's house, right? Get up right now. You are not finished using. You have not had enough. Go up on to your mama's house or up on Woodward and get some money because we need to get high. You'll make it back up to your mother. Your mother's got money and she'll be just fine. Now come on, let's go. We got some things to do. And addiction starts sending me on missions. Sometimes it's like I feel like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. You know what copping was like when you go and try to, we get, addiction to turn you into a cartoon character. Turn your hand over, right? And you go as if you just came, you're on a secret mission or something, and you got your works in your hand. And many times it had turned into something ridiculous. But without recovery. I found if you don't change, your character defects will finish off the job that the drug started. And you think, because the disease of addiction don't need no dope to get you high. You can be, once you stop thinking you need these meetings and you need these people, you already high. It's just a matter of time before you catch up with your crowd. Yeah, you can be high. An addiction can get you with ice cream cone, right? You got diabetes. A chocolate chip cookie will kill you dead, right? Addiction don't care nothing about. You the one that wanted some dope. Like Aaron said, you wanted some dope. Disease of addiction don't need no dope to kill you. It can get a fascination. And you'll be dead. I found out you got to learn something about what this disease is, right? And what it can do to you. And that study may go on for the rest of your recovery. Because it's going to come a time in this program, because of the missions and because of the disabilities. I believe you don't just skip out of active addiction like, okay, give me a hug and a book and get me some teeth and I'm out of active addiction. Oh no. Because look, ask somebody that you're in a relationship with and they'll tell you. Addiction leaves you with disabilities. You can't flirt with addiction. In fact, I found out that you don't just visit active addiction. You have to buy completely in. If you're in this room with me, at some point you bought completely in. And you became sicker than you can even explain to somebody. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about right now in some of y'all affairs. And I found out if you don't meet God in your prayers, you're going to meet him in one of your affairs. Tell you what I found out about these steps that I didn't understand. Some of this stuff sounds so psychologically wonderful, and I thought y'all were some of the most intelligent people I had ever met. I didn't know that these were techniques and strategies for me to fight the disease of addiction. I didn't know that these were response abilities so I can respond to life appropriately when my disease attacked me and my thinking attacked me, when my past attacked me. In fact, if you knew, you're going to have to get some recovery right now. You may have to get some recovery this weekend. You're going to have to recover in spite of what happens to you. You're going to have to recover in spite of who stays with you, who leaves you, whether you broke, whether they hire you, whether they fire you. You're going to have to recover in spite of what goes on in your life. Because along this way, I don't care how much time you got or how articulate you are, how much you remember the program, you're going to fuck up. And the new program, I found out just recently that this is the Unfuck Yourself program. Because you're going to fuck up. You're going to say some shit. You're going to do some shit. This disease is so vicious. It'll return. You know, you can chase it away and it'll come back. Right? With time. Right? Ask some of the old timers what 30-some years is really like. It takes 30-some years to get 30-some years. We survived all that shit that we went through. Because I wasn't always like that. And I couldn't get to where I'm at now without going through some of them things that not just an active addiction, talking about I surrender. There's some relationships I surrender to. There's some ways I surrender to. There's some attitudes I done had to surrender to. There's some times people done told me on my job, and I finished the job and worked my ass off and told me I'm not going to pay you. Motherfucker. And get off my property. Fuck you, Steve. You worked hard all the day. I know I told you it was going to be 70-25, but I done cut it down to 70-10 now. Yeah, bitch, right? It's time to recover. You done been good. You done been good in the relationship, the best you done been, and she still leaving. Sometimes we overemphasize sex. It's strange that I don't care with all them oohs and them ahs, and you the best at this and the best at that, and they still leave your ass. And you find out the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. He was handsome, wasn't he? But he bust your windows out, didn't he? She was pretty, wasn't she? Y'all, she was a newcomer. You know, she was serious about the program. I wonder how that worked out for you. And we all go through it. And you're going to have something that allow you, what they say, this is a program of survival. And they're not just talking about surviving in the street. Most of us ain't in the street, but you're going to have to survive your thinking. You're going to have to survive the misinformation you done got all your life. You're going to have to survive your secret agendas. Sometimes you won't address your real agenda. See, we're going to find out why your ass is really here in time. You can talk all that innate jargon that you want, but you can't hold your breath for so long. In time, all the masks don't fall off. All them delusions is going to be shot. And you're going to have some responsibilities to survive yourself. If I'm the person that has harmed me the most in my life, I need to be able to see that motherfucker coming. It's not going to be David's fault when I say some stuff I'm not supposed to say. And sometimes some of the sickest people in this program are people who can't recognize that they're sick. You can't see yourself. Why did you say that about me? Right? Why they always saying this about me? And if we come in here with all this distortion, if we've been through all them missions and going through all that stuff and survived, there's going to be some necessary things that got to happen. In step one, right? Step one is the ultimate truth. That's a very personal and private thing. You shatter the initial illusion that you could control drugs and live. You're going to have to resolve that issue from the very beginning. The first, unfuck yourself strategy. When we admit, and it's a private part, just before step one, they put a section after how it works and before step one that it's a very personal thing. I encourage anybody that's new, go to that section, fuck your sponsor, and go, yeah, it's a private personal thing. Go there and answer them questions. Do you really realize this is between you and your God? That drugs use you and you didn't use drugs. This is personal stuff that you're going to have to own up to. A lot of times we talk about beating ourselves up. No, sometimes you're going to have to own up to some shit. And clean time ain't got nothing to it. You can have to own up to some shit with time. You can have you can be so sick you don't even realize you're sick. You can have good intentions. I remember I had to raise my daughter. Want to talk about something painful? When I had to I must have had about 6 years clean. My ex we got in a disagreement about her. I had a restaurant and we got in a disagreement about her quitting. She wanted to get her own career. And I was like, what? This restaurant is for me and you. So she quit and left me hanging. I'm mad as a motherfucker. But she was tired sleeping on the couch. And I still had that street stuff in me. But y'all had helped me just a bit, right? And one night, after saying the serenity prayer and doing the best I can, I went crazy. Get your ass up. I'm tired of this shit. And I thought I was doing good. I put my hands on her. I didn't hit her. But grabbing her was like growth for me. Right? Because back in my day, they handle stuff a different way. See, it's recovery during the times. That's why I believe it's so necessary right now that we just don't lean on one part of our literature. We got literature, the disease of addiction has mutated. That's why they changed the third edition, second edition, and updated. You have to update to keep up with the disease of addiction. A lot of times we come in here and say, I ain't smoking no crack. Well, there's a lot of people who ain't never smoked no crack. The disease of addiction don't care if you don't smoke no crack. Have some of this lean. Take a couple of these pills. I'm not no crackhead if you don't keep in pace. Even as carrying a message, you got to talk to these new people and find out what's happening now. I ain't been in the streets since 1987. We got to update our information. We know more than the people who wrote our basic text. Thank God for those people. However, there's some new and updated. Me and Happy New Day go to a meeting on Sunday where we talk about guiding principles. Right? There's some juice and some new information. Ain't nothing like being an old timer and having to sit there and learn all over again where you ain't memorized. We go and memorize the basic text and end up as an NA scholar that's outdated. You got to keep up. You can't keep talking about something that is already passed and the disease done mutated to another level. The sweet little old lady in the second step done come alive in the program. Going from, y'all know, from doctor to doctor for legal prescriptions. And she'll become your sponsor. You won't need your sponsor no more. Because the doctor, I found out if your name ain't on the bottle, you must not swallow. Doctor to doctor. Legal, but we thought that sounded crazy back in the 80s and the early 90s. What did they got this shit in the book for? They was way above their time. Now, The sweet little old lady is sponsoring whole cities. She's sponsoring home groups. They done went crazy. Hopefully, we can hold some stuff still, because a lot of times we work a counterfeit program. You know, a counterfeit is only meant to resemble the real thing. You got to keep your awareness up in this. I'm talking about what I learned over 30 years. I'm not talking about what I memorized from active addiction at 30 years ago. I'm talking about right today. I'm talking about what the new person just went through last week. Right? 14 months ago is what I'm talking about. We got a responsibility. When you get this gift, you get a job too. In fact, I encourage y'all to go home and look deep in your mailbox, because at the bottom of your mailbox there's an invoice. Remember the final prayer when you ask God or somebody to help you. In 1987, I prayed to a God that I flinched from praying to and asked him to help me, and I just realized recently that he did. It's like you made a deal. Narcotics Anonymous may be unconditional, but maybe that power that I made that deal with, if you just get me out this detox, if you just get me out this jail cell, I'll do you. I ain't gonna never do this no more, right? Well, the bill is due. There's an invoice in your mailbox right now. If you ain't doing no service, if you're not giving back, if you're not sponsoring nobody, my guys, and there's a bunch of them, Aaron, David, all of them are doing service. I've had extreme success, and I was wondering, damn, I must be a hell of a sponsor. I'm trying to figure, I went down to Florida to present one of my sponsees with 25 years, and on the way, I'm saying to myself, you ain't no hell of a guy. How in the hell all these guys you got stayed clean for 25 and 30 years? Then I figured it out, what happened with me and my sponsor. One thing I do, and I encourage anybody else to do, I insist on some things from you. My sponsees know to help somebody, right? And they know to do some service. That's what our whole sponsorship family is about, is helping other people. It's nice to have some stuff, but look, when your funeral comes, they ain't remember what kind of car you drove. They ain't gonna say, I wonder what happened to his Cadillac. Right? They ain't gonna remember that suit that you wore, that red suit you had on. People are not gonna remember that. But they will remember if you help somebody. It was a guy I was just telling Rick. It was a guy that's talking to me. Rick ain't nowhere around. Right? He got over 20 years clean. We in a conversation. I don't even know what he's finna tell me. He said, you know, I want to thank Rick K. Now, Rick K ain't there. You know, he came and picked me up for meetings when I was new. This 20 years later, he's remembering in a private conversation at a table how my sponsee helped him. Real recovery. I believe that with all this information, you know, because I started reading my book backwards. Look, I've been here all this time, almost 31 years. I want to see if what they promised me, that if I worked the program would happen. There's a section in here that says when our belief has grown, we'll be slow to anger and quicker to forgive. I want to see at the end of them chapters, did I become any of that stuff that before I moved on to the next step? I want to see if I got any of them promises for working the program. Because the real program don't be later in the book, I found. The real program be in the beginning of the book, in the symbol. See, to understand where we going, you got to understand where we coming from. The symbol talks about, there's a language. They talk about esoteric stuff. It's like a dog whistle. There's a whistle that if I blow it, you won't hear it, but a dog will. We got esoteric stuff that is language. It's like I want to welcome you to the new people to a new planet. You done landed on another planet where we speak a certain language. It's like if somebody put you in China and you don't speak Chinese, you won't understand none of it. We're going to explain Atticese to you, right? We got our own language. We got things that you can't say at religious places or nowhere else but in here. You can tell somebody that you was the worst father in the whole world, and all we'll say is, I understand. You can say with some ridiculous stuff, and we won't laugh at you. We'll laugh with you. The real program, God, self, service, right? Society. Things that will spill over, right? The broader the base, the higher point of freedom. What you going to do with all this information that you got? Hopefully you'll find out something. I found out how to get high. I done finally found out how to get, but not because don't give me no dope, because you gave me some dope right now, you'll fuck my high up. I'm finally high. You know what high is? And they tell you this in the beginning. They tell you with the 30-day key tag. It says clean and something that we never talk about, serene. For me, serene is what I done come to now. That it doesn't matter what happens. It don't matter what serene is gratitude. Serene is assurance that no matter what, everything gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. I know he left you and you loved him. I know you was trying to be the best you can be, but it's gonna be all right. Just keep turning the pages in your life. Some things are going to happen that are not pleasant. Keep turning the pages till you get to another chapter in your life. I guarantee you're going to get to another chapter. I've seen people die in this program with such dignity. You know what I'm saying? It was intimidating. Guys on their deathbed asking, how's your day going today? 10 minutes later, they was dead. Talking about how you doing. I'm in hospice. And I'm saying, how's your wife? What's that situation going on? I'm talking about I ain't seen this happen. And in closing, it's some stuff that happens in here that's like, because you don't have to start, I believe, connecting the dots in your life. Some things are too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence. Yeah, you're going to need these strategies. You think the 4th step is for your sponsor? Right? I found out I did my 3rd step because I realized something. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, and I thought it was flying up in the sky. To the care of God. For almost 31 years, God has been caring for my life in Narcotics Anonymous. I'm in my 3rd step right now. For over 30 years, God has been caring for my life right here. That 4th step is not for your sponsor. Remember, if I'm the person that has harmed me the most in my life, I need to know something about him. I need to stop wondering why people saying things about me. I need to understand whether I was right or I was wrong. Some stuff you're going to have to own up to it. You was a nasty little girl, a thief. You need to know you was a thief, so you keep your hands off people's shit. You need to understand what your motives is. All that smiling and all, you done changed your language, but it's all fake. You got a clown suit sitting somewhere waiting for somebody to hurt your feelings so you can run, get your clown suit, and show them how big a fool you really is. I just been pretending I'm in the program. I'm not really in the program. Hurt my damn feelings and I'll show you. I'll go get my clown suit and clown on you and everybody in my home group. Kiss my ass, all of y'all. You know that's how we can be. You can have Reverend Clown suit. Yeah. Spiritual. Spiritual clown, right? As soon as you hurt my feelings or do something I don't like, I just been waiting for a motherfucker to just do the shit you just did to me. I said the next person that did this, I was going to cut him, right? You hurt my feelings, you told me you love me, right? Oh, it's as simple as like that. It's just like that. You'd be surprised what bothers us, right? You'd be surprised what we really recovering from. A lot of us have forgotten the source of our discontent. You have forgot where you ate. Dorothy Z used to talk about living in your gut. Addicts tend to live in their gut. You can talk all you want to, but if you don't share honestly what's in your gut, what's been bothering you, why what bothers you so damn much. You're going to have to find out some answers to why so you can start getting comfortable with yourself. Addicts are uncomfortable motherfuckers. For reasons sometimes that they don't understand and feel crazy. And you don't have to be no newcomer to feel crazy clean. I need to know something about myself. And I need to admit it to God, to myself, and another human being. There's some stuff in step 9 you will not be able to make the direct amends. You're going to have to make it in step 5 and leave it in step 5. Right? Just admit it to God, to yourself, and another human being. The nature of your wrong. Right? And step 6 ain't about character defects, I don't believe. What does it say? All our steps are about recovery. So why would our steps divert right now to something that's not recovery called character defects? I believe step 6 is about forming something that as an addict you don't need, and that's character. When you're a practicing addict, you don't need no character to fuck you. I don't care. I don't feel nothing because I stole something from you. I needed that money. I broke in your lady was saying about the guy broke in their house. I understood why he broke in his house. He needed to get him some dope. And how did he feel about it? Well, rebuilding character. Because later on in the steps, you're going to find out the real reason you're here. A person with character won't just do anything. So you'll be sufficient to carry God's message to another human being. Somebody asked me about being sleepy. I said, I can't get sleepy right now. I got a responsibility because this message saves lives. I done seen the evidence. Look at all the evidence we got. It's late at night and you still up. It ain't got nothing to do with me. And you're going to have to get you some more of this recovery. They get you a doggy bag. Because there's about to be some other speakers that come along that's going to finish off. And in closing, I shared about this once. I got a call like a couple months ago from a lady I didn't know. She said, who is this? I say, this is Charlie C. She said, I found this book on the bus. And I saw your number in this book, this black book. And I say, oh, yeah? She said, are you one of them people that help people? Because I know what this book is about. And she said, I need some help. Can you help me? She said, I just can't take living the way I'm living. She said, is there anything you can do for me? Is you one of them people? I was out of town. I said, when I get back, darling, I said, we're going to get you a brand new life, right? It was the effort. I called her when I got back home. We talked a couple of days, but she never showed. I would love to tell you she got recovered, she got clean time now. No. But just for a moment, the seed was planted. I was kind to her like y'all were kind with me. I didn't understand all this. We didn't have all this literature. I didn't understand it. If you explained it to me as psychologically as you could, I would not have understood it. But I understand. Come here and give me a hug. It's all right. Have a cup of coffee. You want another cigarette? I understood you being kind to me. I understood when you said, I understand. And welcome back. We do respect the courage that it takes to come back here. So it's good to be clean. And what I'm doing and how I've been living is beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you for letting me share.